Okay, this is a round 4 or maybe a round 5 game. It is between Svenison, that is the Terran player that we're looking at here in the top right of this map, versus YeOldDogg, who is in the bottom left. Now these guys played 3 games, and they did send me the replays. But I don't know the order of the games. Just if you're going to send me replays, it's really helpful if you rename them before you email them to me. If you rename them and put the game numbers on them, that is kind of useful. So I don't know whether this is the first of the games that we're looking at or not. Straight away, something. Oh my, what? I was about to say straight away, Svenison is up to no good with some sort of proxy. It does appear to be a proxy supply depot, though. That's not a thing, is it? It's not a thing. I can't think of a good reason why you would want a supply depot to be closer to your opponent. But anyway, it is. In the production tab, we can see that YeOldDogg has got just a second racks now coming down, is mining gas. Svenison, slightly more conservative, not mining gas, not building workers, naughty Svenison, but does have this barracks in the middle of the map. So, oh, and a second barracks coming down in the middle of the map. So, double proxy barracks rush by the looks of things. But oh my goodness, YeOldDogg I think is also going for a bit of a rush with these 3 barracks building at home. What is this? It's a tech lab, you know, a pretty standard sort of fairly aggressive opening. Oh, I wondered if that. No, I don't think it did. I was just wondering if the SCV had seen these, but I don't think it did. A pretty standard sort of rush opening is to build 2 racks, put a tech lab on one of them, put a reactor on the other. But YeOldDogg, will he have enough to see this rush off? There is a 3rd barracks coming down for Svenison, so both of these players looking to get aggressive. These racks are finished, but only one of them is building stuff. YeOldDogg, you know, oh no, I tell a lie. What? Why? Strange. I think I don't know why, but my settings all appear to have changed. I can't see whether or not these things are building unless I hover on them. So I'll try and change that setting back at some point. Okay. In the production tab, we should find out what's happening. Svenison is feeling brave. He's got 2 Marines here. He is going to be met by 2 Marines. These 2 Marines will have high ground, so they are likely to win this fight, and they do pretty comfortably. In fact, with only this one taking a bit of damage. So Svenison very correctly backs off these 3 racks, though this one not working. These 3 idle workers in the middle of the map will not be helping his economy, and if we look at the economy tab, we can see that actually, despite that, he's doing just fine. Only 13 workers mining at home, so what gives? There are more workers mining here. Having another pop, and this time, does he have enough? It looks like he does. So the Marines come, but 3 against 2 isn't so good. Now 4 Marines, so I think, you know, at this stage YeOldDogg has got to know what's up. He is going to hold this. He does have a Marine number advantage. Some of these Marines beginning to become bruised, but he does have a barracks advantage as well, so he will be able to produce Marines at a quicker rate. A Marauder coming out is going to help a great deal. Marauders do, you know, a handy amount of damage, and they are armoured. I would still like to see him, though, simply throw down a barracks here. A bunker here, because, you know, it's pretty clear that this is a fairly determined push, that he's not going to give this up. So, you know, why not just chuck down a bunker and just seal the deal? Now that this Marauder is out, though, that is going to change everything. Concussive shell definitely worth researching. Has he got stim? Is stim finished for him? It looks like it, yeah. Whoops. So running from SCVs here, probably no need. You know, a little bit of stopping and shooting. This is an overwhelmingly powerful force now. These 3 Marauders are just going to slay this stuff, really, absolutely slay it. If we look at the unit skill tab, we can see that it's a pretty serious disparity. Svenison did pull the workers, so that means he is pretty light on mining at home. Is he going to is he going to try and recover this? I mean, he's building another barracks in the middle of the map. I don't know if that's the right decision, or if he's better to just cut his losses. He isn't building workers. You know, this additional barracks that you're producing here, 2 additional barracks, you can't afford to pump marines out of that number of barracks. So, you know, really it's workers that you need to be building. Meanwhile, YeOldDogg, what are you at? You're building another couple of marauders, but other than that, all is quiet on the western front. Needs to, you know, both of these players have kind of forgotten to macro, so they are building, you know, units, and they're tussling a little bit back and forth near this ramp, but both of them have forgotten that in addition to doing that, you need to get your economy up and running. You need to get your tech up and running. Don't stop building workers just because you're building marines. You know, keep building workers in this game. And once you have a fully saturated base, expand. So once you have 2 fully saturated bases, expand. Once you have 3 fully saturated bases, then you can stop building workers. Okay, so this force is moving out. These units over here, will Svenison just run those in? Will he realise that if all of this stuff is out here, he can sprint in? I would have grabbed them all. I would have sent them all in. And don't shoot the barracks. He's sawed the barracks. Mineral line every single time. Maximise the value that you get from these by killing workers. As it turns out, all they're really going to do is put a slight dent in the side of a barracks here, and that is a real shame. There was definitely an opportunity to even things up a little bit. There was about 8 marines there. Marines could have rinsed through this mineral line very, very quickly indeed. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades. As you can see, YeOldDogg has been upgrading and has got all 3 of the tech lab upgrades. With the marauders out, concussive shell is a very useful upgrade indeed. Svenison has no upgrades at this stage, so these units are going to wreck basically. Concussive shell, if you're unfamiliar with it, doesn't need activated. It's essentially a passive ability of the marauders. It means that when they shoot units, they slow those units down. And this is the serious problem with building all the barracks in the middle of the map. You're not going to lose them all, and it looks a little bit like this game is over. Up to 13 workers at home, but you know, this stuff in the middle of the map is forfeit, and with the depots being there as well, you're going to lose the supply depots and you're going to be supply blocked. That is not a comfortable position to be in. YeOldDogg, meanwhile, you know, you need to be thinking about expanding. Just because you think you're winning doesn't mean you should take your foot off the gas. So it does look like he is going to move across the map here, just and try and strike the killer blow. Build in the command center. I don't, you know, why not build it down here? You've won this battle in the middle of the map. You're pretty safe to build it down there, but you know, as long as you're building it. Oh, changes his mind. Decides that since Svenison is flying his command center around, like, what I don't really know what he's doing here. What is this about? Had Svenison already lifted that off when he went up and thought, oh, there isn't a command center here? Is he not sure where his opponent is? I think that's it. He doesn't realise this map is cross spawn only, I believe. So I don't think you can spawn in positions that are opposing. Like, I don't think you can spawn here. I think it has to be here and here. Yeah, so doesn't know where his opponent is. So you know, Svenison potentially could get back into this. Drops the gas. What you're gonna need though is to bring these workers over. You've got 9 idle workers, and you've got, you know, a fairly limited amount of money. If you're gonna set up camp here though, you know, some bunkers really wouldn't go astray. A couple of bunkers that you can get your marines in so that you can get value from them. I don't think there is going to be a chance of that now, because these marines and this marauder are going to end this game. Yep, there is the stuff you're looking for. Once this command center goes, has he got enough money in the bank to build a new one? He doesn't, so this is going to be the end of the game. Oh wait, he's already started the new one. That's why he doesn't have money in the bank. You've got to be kidding me there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, GG. Well, there you go. So, you know, the pros and cons of proxying barracks in the middle of the map there. The pros and cons. If you are going to do it, you don't need to proxy your depots. That's just odd. Yeah. A little unfortunate that his opponent had also rushed a large number of barracks and therefore did have enough units to defend that. So I suppose you could argue that if you are going to you could argue that if you are going to proxy those racks, then what you need to do is, as soon as one of the barracks is finished building, is send a worker in to scout, because had you scouted and seen what your opponent was doing, you know, you'd have seen that he had 4 racks, and you'd have realised, well, this isn't going to work out for me, I'm going to be against a home advantage, and what I should really do is fly my barracks home, build a barracks at home, build a bunker at home, and wait for the incoming marine rush that I know is going to happen. Anywho, Bonza, GG.